Who are we voting for? Meet the candidates. Who Are We Voting For was created so we could understand who the candidates are and what they are about. This is not an endorsement for any candidate. This is for the voter to be more educated about who we're voting for.
Hi, I'm Jackie Obara. I am currently a divorce hearing officer in the Court of Common Pleas of Allegheny County Family Division. I have lived in Pittsburgh since 1996, but I grew up in Wheeling, West Virginia. I attended a very small private all-girls school in Wheeling, and my parents prioritized education. They liked, it's called Mount DeChantal, they liked the Mount because it prioritized women and founded in me the belief that women can really do anything and be anything that we want to be. So I moved up to Pittsburgh in 1996 to attend Duquesne University, where I majored in chemistry. And at that time, my path was veterinary medicine. I wanted to be a veterinarian. I was an avid horseback rider. I loved animals. I loved being outdoors. And so I decided I wanted to be a veterinarian. And while I was in the summer, I had interned for a veterinary clinic and saw some pretty difficult things. One thing was a barn fire. And I saw what the animals and what the veterinarians had to do with regard to treating them, and it was just not something that I thought I could emotionally handle going forward. So I changed my path and graduated with my degree in chemistry with a minor in mathematics. A couple years later, I attended Duquesne Law School, where I was a member of the Law Review, graduated with honors, and while I was there, I realized that I liked the law as it applied to people. So in 2002, a little fun fact, I was doing an internship with Judge Jeffrey Manning, and my husband David is an assistant public defender with Allegheny County. He was assigned to Judge Manning's courtroom at the time, and when he walked into chambers, I looked at him and I said, yes, that's the guy I'm going to marry. Now, it did take him quite a little bit to figure that out, but ultimately we did get married in 2004. So I graduated from law school in 2004, took the bar exam the summer of 2004, and married my husband in September 2004. So it was definitely a busy summer for me, but one that I will never forget. And so thankfully, everything's gone really well since then. We've been married for now 20 and a half years. We have 3 children, ages 16, 17, 18, and live in Elizabeth Township. So in 2014, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And while everyone says that that's the cancer that you want to have, it was still very traumatic for me and my family. So once I got through the treatment with the thyroid cancer, I decided that I wanted to cross something off my bucket list. And one of those things was running a marathon. My brother-in-law at the time was a naval officer, and he was stationed in DC, and he's a physician, and his unit did the medical support for the Marine Corps marathon. So he said, okay, I've always wanted to run a marathon too. Let's run this together, and we'll train together, run together. And so we did. And so in 2015, my brother-in-law and I ran and completed the Marine Corps marathon. So that's something that I never thought I'd be able to do. I was never very athletic. It says you're not very coordinated. I danced like Elaine from Seinfeld. But it was something that I challenged myself to do, and it really taught me dedication, perseverance, and that really I don't have any limits to what I can do. So that is the kind of little fun fact about me. My oldest daughter is graduating from high school this year, and she will be attending college at Seton Hill University. I am very proud of her. She is going to be golfing on their golf team. And my son is currently on the rowing team at Central Catholic, and my youngest daughter is a runner and a swimmer. So that's some fun little facts about me. So I've been a licensed attorney in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania since 2004. I have dedicated my practice to family law primarily, although I have experience in all 4 divisions of the Court of Common Pleas of Allegheny County. I've also practiced in surrounding counties and at the appellate court level. I began my practice in 2004 in a small family law firm where I focused my practice on representing clients in divorce, custody, support, protection from abuse, and dependency matters. In 2006, I became Judge Tom Flaherty's law clerk, and from that point until November of 2024, I assisted the court with pretty much everything behind the scenes. Drafting findings of fact, conclusions of law, opinions, reviewing case files, motions before him. He was assigned to family division for 4 years, and then he transferred to criminal division. So I have a really in-depth understanding of the behind-the-scenes functioning of a judge for the last 18, almost 19 years. Then for the last 6 years, I've been appointed as a divorce hearing officer. In that capacity, I sit as the finder of fact and assisting parties with resolution of their economic claims incident to divorce. So that means equitable distribution, alimony, complex support, and I also do enforcement of marriage settlement agreements, prenuptial agreements, enforcement or validity, and anything related to the financial aspect of the divorce. And what I have learned in these 20 years is that it takes a person with compassion, knowledge, and the appropriate temperament to sit as a family division judge. I would like to focus the rest of my career on assisting the families of Allegheny County with their family law, family division matters, and be a family division judge. And I've essentially been sitting in that capacity for the last 6 years. So when I do a matter as a divorce hearing officer, we first conciliate, meaning we try to get the parties to reach a resolution that's agreeable to both of them. And then if that doesn't work, I have a hearing. I will sit as the hearing officer in cases I've had them as short as 3 hours or as long as 7 days. Afterwards, I issue a report and recommendation to the court, to the judge, and they can adopt it or modify it. To be quite honest, there are very few that are modified, so oftentimes what I am recommending has been the final order and final disposition of the case. So that's what qualifies me to be a judge. In addition, I am an adjunct professor at Duquesne University School of Law, where I teach trial advocacy to second and third year and fourth year part-time or evening students. I'm running for the Court of Common Pleas to bring consistency to the bench in the family division. Over the 20 years of practice, I've noticed that when judges change divisions, the parties going through family division experience a change in their cases and a different trajectory, and it's really not fair to them, particularly the families who are going through custody proceedings. And one of the most important and influential things that a judge can do is in the family division, in my opinion, because you're dealing with the day-to-day family time and family finances of citizens. It is a very intimate and difficult time in everyone's life for the people going through the division. And while there are definitely talented jurists who come in and out of family division, families need someone who's going to stay and dedicate their career to that area of practice. And that's what I've done for 20 years, and that's what I would like to do for the rest of my career. I've been highly rated by the Allegheny County Bar Association, and I believe that that's a function of my work experience as a hearing officer. Some of the things that I often hear from attorneys were, well, while my client didn't agree with what your decision was, they thought that you were fair. They thought that you took the time to listen to what they had to say. And that, to me, is one of the highest compliments that you can get. And that fueled my desire to continue serving the families of Allegheny County, not just in the financial area, which is what I do as a divorce hearing officer, but to expand that to the custody and protection from abuse issues. So the court system can be a really scary place. People oftentimes don't want to be there. They're there for a decision made by someone else or an action taken by someone else that really has a life-altering impact on their own life. And particularly in family division and criminal division, this can't be more readily apparent. So as someone who has worked in the system for 20 years, I've recognized that people coming through the court system sometimes are suffering with mental health crises, mental health disorders, and they oftentimes don't go recognized by the hearing officers or jurists or other people interacting with them. Family division deals with things that are the most intimate of a person, right? Time with their family and financial security. Those are things that we deal with and divide on a daily basis. And understanding the mental health needs of the people that come in front of the court is vitally important. So one of the initiatives I undertook during my last few years as a hearing officer is to coordinate with the Allegheny County Adult Probation to have the hearing officers in Allegheny County Family Division trained to be with mental health first aid similar to the Allegheny County Adult Probation officers. So that was one thing that I think the court system needed to fix, and I took steps to do that, so as to make it a better experience and understanding on the court system for us and for the participants. Another area where I'd like to see improvement in the family division is access to the courts by pro se individuals. A pro se individual is someone who is not represented by counsel. That doesn't mean that their cases are any different or should be treated differently than anyone who's represented, but oftentimes they don't know where to go or how to get there. And so I would like to create a place or a system that is a little bit better at directing the pro se people to where they need to be so they can get the services and fix things that they want to fix. As a person, though, I've always been involved in my community through my children's youth sports activities. And one of the most challenging things that I had to do was I was the president of my daughter and son's swim team during COVID. The COVID epidemic obviously changed the landscape of youth sports. And one of the things we lost was access to our pool. It was very difficult to find time in the water. And so one of the challenges I had was rebuilding that team. So it was fun, it was challenging, but it also gave a benefit to the community. We had to implement different procedures and temperature taking and masking and things, but ultimately it made the team better and made it grow. I'm now secretary for my son's crew team, which is a whole nother level of difficulty dealing with boats and waters in a sport that I've never understood. But that's another thing about me as a person is that I never shy away from a challenge. So that was very difficult for me to figure out this totally new sport that I've never had any not interest in, but experience or been exposed to, and try to figure out all of the ins and outs of the U.S. rowing regulations. The people of Allegheny County should vote for me for judge of the Court of Common Pleas because experience matters. I have 20 years of experience as licensed attorney in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I have focused my practice on family law and criminal law for those 20 years, but primarily family law. I have been a hearing officer for 6 years, where I have assisted the parties with resolution of economic claims incident to divorce. I have integrity, compassion, I'm knowledgeable in the law. And one of the things that is most important about a sitting judge is that they understand the people who come before them. And that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years. I've given presentations on family law matters to the Pennsylvania Bar Association Family Law Section. I've spoken many times at the Matrimonial Inns of Court on family law matters, and I'm going to be a presenter at the Allegheny County Bench Bar Conference in June on, it's going to be called Family Law Feud, and where we go through hot topics in family law, including case law updates and evidentiary issues that we see in the courtroom to help the parties and the attorneys representing them effectively navigate the court system. So I have the experience, the integrity, and the temperament to do the job. And I've been doing the job behind the scenes for the last 19 years. So I'm going to be ready to step forward and take my experience to the bench and be ready to go on day one. In addition, I'm also a human. I have life's experiences. I'm a wife of 20 years, a mother of 18 years. I understand the needs of children and families and so I can apply all of that experience to the practice. I understand that oftentimes, it's difficult for people to get through the system, and they want someone who understands them and understands the cases that come before them. The people of Allegheny County should demand to have a judge who knows the law and knows life, and I have both. I'm highly recommended by the Bar Association, which tells you that my peers, the attorneys who reviewed the 41 members on the Judiciary Committee who reviewed a thorough work history, believe that I'm qualified to be a judge of the Court of Common Pleas. I ask for your vote. I am on the Democrat ticket, next to last, number 21 of 22. So I'm next to last on that ballot. And on the Republican ticket, I'm number 2. So look for me on either ticket, and I hope to get your vote in May. Thank you.